faced with terrible circumstances to the east, to the west, to the south, and even to the north. And you do recall that incident that we have witnessed a few months ago when there was an attempt to infiltrate through the Mediterranean Sea and target our military
naval troops.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, what I would like to say that it's very important to never lose sight and to have all a unity of purpose and to give the time for the appropriate right analysis in such way that we could assess properly what has happened and how to move forward and how to enhance our capacity to contain such a phenomenon. As I told you earlier, we are faced with a tremendous challenge. We are not talking about...
and let me take it from here,
please.
sir. Whenever it's tremendous challenge and whenever we are facing unprecedented conspiracy against Egypt and the Egyptians. Since you were talking, sir, about the judiciary systems, about the courts, and about the state of law, many, not only the ordinary people, but even experts would say that we do need now the emergency law. We do need now the quick justice, because the postponed justice is injustice. And whenever we do have those behind bars who we really know that they are the heads of the conspiracy, or the heads of the snakes, as we say, these things are going, or these actions, these terrorist acts are going to continue. Now you would find an ordinary citizen, for instance, would ask why we do not execute those people, why we are dealing with them as ordinary criminals since they are not, why we don't have special circuits or special courts to sue them, to try them, to put them in front of the whole nation and to say that those are behind those criminal attacks and they were behind the killing of our martyrs. How we can react or how we can answer those demands?
The reactions are quite legitimate and normal. And in fact, it enrich the debates, the discussions, even the analysis, the appropriate analysis needed to assess properly the situation. But let me tell you that balance is a key word here. And we have to trust our institutions in such a way that they could succeed in facing such a challenge. It's not something easy that we are faced with. I hope that the situation will not turn into the situations that we witness in other countries, neighboring countries in the region. So we have to keep cool, not lose sight.
Till when?
Till we succeed in containing terrorism within Egypt, because Egypt is playing a very important role in the whole region. If you are going to contain terrorism within Egypt, if you are going to contain the freedom of movement of the Muslim brothers worldwide, if you are going to have a better coordination and cooperation with the different international key players, if we are going to succeed in getting the others to come to the same table and to get into really common actions in such a way that we contain that phenomena, which is a world phenomena, I believe we are going to succeed in containing terrorism within the region. It's not an easy task. It's going to take time, and we shouldn't lose sight. The reactions are quite legitimate and normal. But
the diplomatic way of answering such a question, sir. But I think we do have to have some other points of view, and here it's socio-politics. They answer our questions.
Right,
and,
we have someone.
And we will have the phone Professor Dr. Saeed Sadiq, the professor of sociopolitics. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. Sir, can you hear me?
Good morning, Dr. Sadiq.
Good morning to you.
We were talking about the deadly attack that took place earlier late Thursday night in northern Sinai and targeted the military and official state security personnel and claimed several lives and left other civilians injured. Your own assessment of the nature of that particular terrorist attack, and how is it different from your own point of view from the other deadliest attacks that took place earlier?
As you know, the Egyptian army began to move to Sinai in September 2013 to start this campaign against terrorism in North Sinai. We have seen ups and downs in this campaign. Some of the reactions that came from the terrorist groups in Sinai indicated that they have a qualitative improvement in type of attacks that were unprecedented, like the downing of the Egyptian Apache helicopter, like the attack in Qarm al-Qawadis. They were very different from the typical terrorist operation that happened in mainland Egypt, not in but you know, as you know, the nature of Iran in Sinai is different, and so it allowed people, you know, some of those terrorist organizations and their members to hide in mountains, to conceal weapons under the sand, to do a lot of things of that type. Also, we need to understand that terrorism does not exist because of unemployment, poverty, and misunderstanding of religion. No, terrorism in Sinai has also international links. And we have seen before this operation, the latest one, 4 TV channels from Istanbul are promoting violence against the army, the president, the police, and those channels, you know, supported by the Turkish intelligence, were preparing for a massive attack on the anniversary of the revolution. As you know, if you have a war, you need media, and we are at war. And so if you were monitoring properly those channels, it was clear that they were fomenting violence and terrorism inside Egypt, and they were paving the road for something big against the army and the police. Because if you look at the content of the messages, which many, by the way, had been removed on YouTube, the addresses of those channels in Istanbul were also removed. I think this is the advice of the Turkish intelligence. It began to cause some trouble. All those factors indicated that they were up to something, and I don't think the Egyptian security were not aware. I think they were aware that there were big attacks coming on the anniversary of the revolution anywhere in Egypt. And so we have to admit that there was not enough measures taken to protect the security in those attacks. If we had taken the proper measures, I don't think it would have happened. But there was a mistake, and I hope that there is investigation, very thorough investigation in the army. How did this happen and how to avoid it in the future?
Sir, if you permit me, Professor Sadiq, this is Nermeen Abdurrahman. A very good morning to you, sir. Sir, of course, if there is something wrong with the performance of any of our security personnel, whether inside the army or the police, I know that this is not going to be neglected or let it go. And whenever there is an attack which succeeded, this also means that tens of other attacks were foiled. But let me ask you here about the reaction of the ordinary people, sir. Since I'm talking with a professor of sociopolitics, I'd like to focus more on the reaction of the Egyptian people. I mean, have we got used to listen or to see those attacks on television and just to feel sorry for 2 or 3 days with the scores of people dead? Or this time is different? or this time is going to be different, or our reaction on the long term is going to be different?
I think if, I was following the social media, how people responded. There was a lot of signs that we are je suis the Egyptian army.
Yeah.
Je suis Charlie. So there is a lot of solidarity with the army. There is realization that Egypt is under a very ferocious attack from foreign governments who are sponsoring the Muslim Brotherhood and secret branches that call themselves whatever. It is generally speaking, us people, they tell you we want more punitive methods, we want more firm action from the Egyptian government. In fact, one of the signs that I saw, if we appoint President Putin of Russia to become the Minister of Interior in Egypt, we think he will finish the terrorism in Egypt in 1 month. Of course, this is jokingly, but it is clear. People want a firm action from the government. They want a strong action. They don't want a weak reaction and all those considerations about international community, because nobody is paying the price except the Egyptians. If anybody is unhappy about how we respond to terrorism, why don't they enjoy the terrorists? Why don't they get them in the country and see and show us how they treat them? How did America deal with terrorism? How does Israel deal with terrorism? Whatever, whatever it is called. Again, people want tougher measures against terrorism. They just feel that the government is slow in responding, and it is not taking enough and strong measures to respond. Where are the laws? Where are the funds?
But tomorrow is another day, and we have more trust and confidence in our leadership. Professor Dr. Said Sadr, Professor of Sociopolitics, thank you very much for your input, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sadr. And going back to you, Ambassador Hefny, taking it from Dr. Sadr, it seems that whoever is observing the situation, there must be some controversy that is falling into the definition of terrorism when it comes to the world community. And as we have seen earlier last month, a few weeks before, there was an attack, a regular attack that was carried out on the Charlie Hebdo newspaper that wasn't really that popular until they ridiculed and mocked all religions, not only Islam, in a very rude way, and this is when they became popular. And 12 were killed, 12 journalists were killed, and immediately that was announced a terrorist attack. But when the same acts were being taken in Syria against innocent civilians and beheadings of many on the hands of the jihadist militants, that was called a revolution. And the same thing happened in Iraq, and it took an international coalition for months and months to fight this only the few people that formed the group of Daesh. Now there is controversy defining what's happening in Egypt when it comes to the U.S. administration. So people sometimes get confused. How do you explain that?
Well, it's quite obvious that they have to confused. Terrorism is terrorism. In the back mind of everybody, we understand what is terrorism. Sometimes we get, especially within certain international forums, in complications of technicalities in such way that we could reach a common understanding or definition of terrorism. But in the back mind of everybody, we understand what terrorism is. The idea is how